Lennie Moren is coming up to speak next. She was, of course, born here in Anchorage in a little house on East 8th. In Lennie's words, the furnace blew up on the night I was born. That's probably why she's been setting the world on fire ever since. In 1977, she was one of the founders of Standing Together Against Rape, an organization which assists and advocates for victims of sexual assault. She's a nationally certified mediator through which she assists the creation of the student organization SOAR, Students Organizing Against Racism. Her denial of service by Valley Hospital was the basis of the successful lawsuit brought by Dr. Susan Lamagi. I'm sorry, Lamagi. Really? All right, say it again. Lamagi, which sounds like a class that tells you how to breathe when you're having a baby. See, if someone would have explained that, I would have said it right. Okay. My apologies to Dr. Susan. Okay, so the victory ensured the second trimester abortions were secured for women in South Central Alaska. That's huge. Over the years, Lennie has organized and facilitated numerous support groups for battered women, as well as survivors of sexual assault and childhood molestation. She believes it was the strength that she learned from these women and children that helped her in her recovery from one horrendous act. You may remember in 2007, Lennie survived the machete assault in Palmer at the hands of her fiance's son. He killed his father, then attacked Lennie, inflicting over 50 wounds with a machete from head to toe. Her recovery process has been arduous, but you wouldn't know that from her attitude. Every time Lennie works on the TV show with us, and every time I see her, like, Lennie, how you doing?
Blessed and highly favored.
Blessed and highly favored is her response every single time. And it is absolutely awe-inspiring because I would be like, really? I got hit with a machete 50 times. And somebody parked in handicap without a sticker. She's like, blessed and highly favored. Anyway, we're so lucky she's here. Lennie.
Thank you, Shannon. This is my right hand right here, Jane Darn. It is my pleasure. Can everybody hear me? Vagina! Can you hear me? Okay. It is my pleasure and chagrin to stand before you and carry on a tradition that has been in my family for way too many years. My paternal grandmother was a suffragette and marched for women's vote. And the way my grandfather tells it, they coined the term Roaring 20s because of her. My mother loved Alaska for many reasons, but mostly because it granted women the right to vote the year she was born, 1913. 7 years before it went national. Alaska women are strong women. I grew up around strong women in my mother's beauty shop on Spenard Road. And it was these women that taught me that you stand up and you do something when you see something is wrong. When I was 26 and I lost my husband in a car accident, found myself a single mother with a small child, it was my women friends who surrounded me and held me up. And together we formed STAR. And while I was involved in that movement, I watched one woman in this town who took in a battered woman, a stranger who knocked on her door, who was running away from her husband. She had a black eye, and Kid Evans hid her in her basement. And while hiding her, she came up with the idea of safe homes. And she designed the Safe Home Network that brought domestic violence out of the closet throughout the nation. And what we have today is the Awake Shelter from that. We can be proud of that. My point here is one woman can make a difference. We can make a difference. We have to. Because since I buried my mother in 2011, over 900 bills have been introduced across this country, including Alaska and DC, with regulations against women's civil rights. Here are just a few, and I double-checked these. An attempt to change the definition of rape to forcible rape, meaning that a woman must prove they resisted. Those drugged or incapacitated would not be considered really raped. On the same note, in Georgia, a bill waits to change the legal term for victims of rape, stalking, and domestic violence to accuser, but keeping the term victim for other crimes like burglary. That means if you get raped, you're an accuser, but if he takes your wallet, then you're a victim.
Oh my God.
That's a boo. A Kansas state legislator said that a pregnancy from rape is the same as getting a flat tire. No one wants one, but a woman should be prepared. With such attitudes, it's no surprise that the renewal of the Violence Against Women Act continues to be blocked by partisan bickering. The City Council of Topeka, Kansas has passed an ordinance decriminalizing domestic violence in the city, so they won't have to pay for prosecuting the abuser. This is right behind us. This is coming. A bill in Wisconsin is on the table to add single parenthood to the definition of child abuse. The sponsor stated it was aimed squarely at single mothers. A Florida governor just removed $1.5 million in funding for rape crisis centers, saying that they were unnecessary.
Shame! Shame!
The U.S. is one of only 8 countries, including Somalia, Sudan, and Iran, that refuses to ratify the UN Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. We're there with Iran and Sudan. Shame! 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 That's right, shame. So far, states have passed 83 laws restricting some kind of access to abortion. South Dakota is considering making it legal to kill abortion doctors. They're putting a target on her back. Shame! 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 Arizona passed a law that says that life begins 2 weeks before conception. Shame and ridiculous! A bill is being entertained in the House of Representatives right now that would permit a hospital to allow a woman to die rather than perform an abortion that would save her life.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
Many states are attempting to defund Planned Parenthood despite the fact that it provides primary health care and contraception for women and men at a sliding fee scale. Texas alone has removed access to contraception and cancer screening for up to 100,000 poor women by cutting off all funding to any clinic or provider that is affiliated with an abortion provider, whether the clinic performs abortions or not.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
But yet, out of 196 countries in the world, 178 of which have mandatory paid maternity leave, the U.S. is not one of them and refuses to consider it.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
That's because we didn't have 4 mothers. We should have had 4 fathers, but we only had 4 mothers. With women making up to 51% of the population, it is shocking to see that more than 66% of all minimum wage jobs are held by women. Wisconsin just appealed their state's equal pay law. One sponsor stated that money is more important to men, the traditional breadwinner, and the Paycheck Fairness Act is still being debated in D.C. War has been declared, ladies and gentlemen, women and men. The civil rights of our daughters are at stake here. If one woman from our little old anchor town can change how the entire nation dealt with domestic abuse, then I think we can all stand together in this fight. Abuse is more than a punch in the face. Sexual assault, domestic abuse, legislative violence, it all starts with the attitude that women are less than. And now is the time to get off our apathy and kick some attitude.
Right